Why death rates go up during quarantine? Why people die more than expected in lockdown area? What's that? Well, the first answer naturally comes to mind. Say these are the same people some weeks ago got the virus and now they're struggling with death and something. And partially that's right, but all we know there must be something. That's strange. On the contrary, you see some places in the center of gathering people, a kind of super public. I'm talking about, for example, supermarkets, where all people go there and buy something, talk to them, transfer, spread viruses together. And then when we go there, they're afraid. We say, okay, give me please. We come back home, put everything inside plastic, I don't know, at the corner and spray that and that's right, that's dangerous. But what about those people? Before quarantine, they were open, working. During lockdown, quarantine, they are working. They have been working. And now, after that, I don't say none of them has been sick or I don't know, something. No, that's not true. But that was below the expected number, the center of the publication. Really, I expected, like many other people, among those people we could see many diseased and maybe, unfortunately, dead people. But it didn't happen, fortunately. Now, before talking about that, let's first see and check what precious tools we have got through the battle with this damn virus, And now we've got leverage to control it. And what's that? First, I want to talk about it. For now, I call it safe streaming of the virus. And what is that and why that's important? Remember, the first days when this virus, the outbreak started, governments in different countries just wanted to erase this virus out of the world. With those spaceship-like dresses and spraying every city and countries. But finally they understood it is almost impossible to delete the virus totally from the world. They said, okay, it's not bad to control it at least. And that's one point. Another point, on the other hand, doctors, nurses, scientists, medical care people said, if there was not such a big rush, not explosion of the diseased and the sick people, we could control it like other disease. We tested many drugs and we had enough ventilators, devices. So the problem is outbreak. If that's a streamline of the diseased people, sick people, we can handle it. We can do something good for that, and maybe even in future we make vaccine for it. And now here, there's something happening in nature that works as a break or threshold to these kind of viruses. Its name is generally herd immunity or tribal immunity. It's simply, perhaps, it works like among a population, for example, some thousand population, if a person gets a new virus and he will be sick, reproduces the virus in his or her system, and then transmits to, let's say, 10 near people around him. And then those 10 people go mess around with other people and transfer to 10 each to 10 new people. And this goes on and on. After maybe some weeks, if one person is new and recently sick, there aren't 10 fresh people around him. That's the key. Because some people previously had the virus and now are immune to the same virus and act as a shelter, do not let the virus to be transmitted to the whole of the society and population. And it's going on up to somewhere approximately maybe 80% of the population are immune to the disease. It's the lowest speed of the transmission of the virus. There is an expiry date on the herd immunity or tribal immunity. Usually these kind of viruses, respiratory viruses, after some month, change their shape or some of the powers, so the previous antibodies in our body cannot cope with the new change-shaped virus. That's the key. I want to say, after the herd immunity expires, there may be another explosion again, because now none of the people are now immune to the same virus again, because the virus changed, evolved some new ability. So what to do? Here's the idea of safe streaming, Think, instead of some billion people in just 1 month have the same disease, and that's explosion, outbreak. We will have some millions of people, some 100 millions of people have this disease, this virus, mild streaming of the virus. So let it go on, but avoid explosion. That's the key. Safe streaming. In previous video, I talked about why safe streaming is important. We could leverage it with the conjunction with the natural herd immunity or tribal immunity, and our aim is to have the virus in some very slow rate could spread to other people, so avoid explosion, outbreak in future. Here, for safe streaming or mild streaming, we introduce 2 different zones. One is colonies. Colonies by default is your home, is your workspace. The keyword is not new, the same, the previous one. The keyword is not new. The same supermarket you always go, even sometimes in future the same restaurant you usually go. But do not change your restaurant. That's the key for colonies. The idea, look, please. The idea is have the virus keep going on. Because if it's stopped, shut down, the next season, after the herd immunity expires, the outbreak will be there again and maybe more severe. And in different level of security, it could be a little different. For example, at the hardest one, the maximum security, only your home was your colony. And then little by little your job space, and now maybe even your supermarket spaces, and so on. In colonies, as I said, you act as natural. Do not have gloves or mask or social distancing. Maybe in colonies is not good because we must transfer and exchange viruses to each other. No public, as you may guess from the name, it's any open places with much crowded population of people. Like subways, like marketplaces, new restaurants, not the same you everyday go, new restaurants, and so on and so forth. In public, the most important role in this idea in safe streaming is that we shouldn't let the virus, its transmission rate go fast, and again another explosion occurs. That's the idea. By the way, and recently scientists are guessing that COVID-19 C19 virus in people's mouth is not as dangerous as it is on surfaces. Maybe there are some harness, like some, I would say, other viruses that neutralize the power of COVID-19 or something anyway. But when they get to surfaces after a while, some hours, they will be really dangerous. So better at the first step, the most important part is that we do not transfer from our mouth this damn virus to the world, to the surface, to the walls, people's hair, people's, clothing. And now, as you see, when we are tied together, sometimes maybe it spits to other people, little amounts and piece of liquids. Maybe we laugh, that's not important. But those are full of viruses. So even the sneezing and cough, you don't know what happens. But even with talking. So better cover your mouth, your nose if possible. But it's difficult, I know. And most people don't know and when wearing the mask, shouldn't mess around the viruses with their hand. They touch, keep it up and down, and that's too dangerous. But the most, I think practical and easiest part is to spray your mouth. I'm not a doctor, I'm not prescribing what spray is good, but just I think normal alcohol is something very good and easily at hand. Spray your mouth, your nose. First, you kill most viruses around yourself, you are immune, and at the same time your mouth and nose for maybe 10 minutes or 20 minutes cannot spread live viruses to the, to the city or anywhere. And by the way, drinking alcohol is something else. It doesn't do anything to your mouth and nose. This active alcohol is important. I'm not talking about drinking alcohol, please do not mistake. And something important, I would say one person walking to the city, subways, marketplaces, talk to people, spreads viruses by speaking 10 times more than just by his hand. On people's dresses, on hairs, on walls, seats, anywhere. But the same people just with hands, maybe some knobs, doors, he touches them. Talking is more important in this case. So that's the idea of safe transferring the virus smoothly, keeping it alive, not just stop it completely, because the next season it will be active and there won't be herd immunity and the outbreak starts again. And now, the most important, interesting part for you, why in lockdown area people die more than expected. The next video, I'm talking about that. This is continue for why people die in lockdown area more than expected. And now we came here to the part of fake immunity. The real part is here. Well, immunity, as you know, it's when a people gets the same virus, he's immune to that. It means not apparent sickness, not fever that much. That's it, yeah. But what is fake immunity? I just call it this way to get your attention. It's kind of immunity prior to immunity, real immunity. It means your body recognizes the virus correctly. This is the key word. Recognizes correctly and maybe gets sick, headache, I don't know, fever and so on, and then naturally produces the antibody. I don't mean killing the virus with medicine or transplant from other people's body, the antibodies. I'm not talking about that. In this scenario, this is immunity and the next one is fake immunity. Now, as you know, viruses evolve, change during time. For example, some 100 years ago, some 1,000 years ago, there were viruses like minus 1,000 virus, then the generation of minus 100 viruses, and then goes on and on up to virus 2, 3, 4, up to now, which is, let's say, virus 10. These are examples, okay? Not important, just keep in mind. Viruses change in different ways. For example, sometimes they extend some of their abilities they had before. For instance, a virus can tolerate up to 36 centigrade. And now, recently, it extended its ability up to 37 centigrade. Now our body again recognizes this virus because of fake immunity. And maybe headache, fever and so, and then makes antibody for that, and that's okay. But sometimes viruses evolve in new way. That they get a power previously they didn't have. Like for example, a virus now can copy or imitate the protein of human's body. And that's the dangerous part. You know, at first, at the beginning of the power, the virus itself cannot manipulate or control its new power, and human's body can also cover it, adopt it, and defeat it. But if it's late and After some weeks or months or maybe years, the virus has power over its old ability, and that's really dangerous. Now, in public places, when a person is sick by respiratory diseases and spreads virus toward you, usually it's bunch of viruses. It's not just COVID-19, C19 virus, coronavirus. It's bunch of viruses, I don't know, hundreds of different species, even the same virus of different time. It's ancestors, old species of the same virus even. All together comes toward you. And now, when you catch the virus, that's droplets of saliva or something by sneezing or something, you have enough information, your body has enough information of the virus, all version, its previous version are also in the same package. So your body knows how to deal with that and how will be the situation, and finally after some fever or so, makes the antibody for that. But if you miss some of the previous data, updating data of the same virus, of that virus, especially if that was some new ability of the virus, some change in technology of the virus, you're in danger. Here comes the idea. Why should your body miss some previous data of the virus, some updating data of the virus, so has not fake immunity in this way? Why? It goes on two phases. Phase one, as you know, it could be the most probable from herd immunity, where you remember around something like 80% of the population got the previous information. Now they are sick, transmitted the virus to each other. But after 80%, those other 20% of the population, they are far, so that those 80% are sheltered between sick people and those 20%. So because of herd immunity or tribal immunity, it's one way you didn't get the previous updating data of that virus. Another way could be, for example, the culture, the metropolitan infrastructure, how people go and come. For example, a person is reserved and separated from other people. Many things on this situation could happen. And the beginning or end of the season. So there are not much people sick of the virus to spread the virus to you. There are a little sick people of the new virus at the begin or end of season. And the most probable is the health power. I mean, for example, the medicine or even vaccine, the worst. I'm using vaccine for respiratory disease. I accept that's good. But now you see what's the problem now. So medicines, vaccine, these things help people when they catch disease, a virus, something. They will be very slightly sick with low symptoms, not sneezing 2 weeks, not coughing, and with sneezing, coughing during something like 2 weeks, you could spread all previous data to other people. So that's, I'm telling you, please, if possible, reduce the amount of using medicine and vaccine for this kind of diseases, so people spread updating data to each other. Maybe in future we'll have kind of a sneeze party, I don't know really. But I remember when I was a child, newspapers I read, there were some tribes, as a greeting, they rubbed their nose to each other. Maybe they knew something, I don't know, just a suggestion. And not phase two, why on earth should you receive a virus solely? I mean, not bunch of complete package of viruses. Why you should receive C19, COVID-19 solely, coronavirus? Why? That's the strange part. I call it, just to get your attention, just to call it jumping virus. It's not a physical jump, its kind of ability, it can separate itself from its other species and other viruses. Maybe it's because of its weight. When somebody sneezes, C19, because it's heavy, very soon falls down. But other viruses, other species, maybe the sneeze go further, some small liquids come together, make heavy, and then fall down. So this way, maybe C19 is separated from other viruses. Or more probable because of new ability of tolerance, more pH or more salinity, how the water is salt. For example, in the most probable, in cold and humid area, when somebody sneezes or talks, even, small particles of liquid of his mouth or her mouth, falls upon the surfaces, clothes, hair or chairs, and then small drops of liquids absorbs vapor steam from the air across it, and small drops become larger. This way, the pH and salinity and many other things of the small water will going to change, and their previous data is lost. Its ancestor, previous version of the same virus are dead, and all of this damn virus now is solely alone, standalone is alive. This is the power of jumping virus, just to remember it. Now, if some of those 20% people, those who do not have previous updating data, touch this virus, he's in big trouble. Yeah, he's in big trouble. And maybe by chance, usually these people are those people that do not go outside too much. They are reserved people. But maybe old people in pensions, I don't know, whenever and wherever. Then if he has a chance to go to a doctor, on the way, in subway, I don't know, in the doctor's office, he will catch from people the updating data, and he's after a while, he'll be okay. But in quarantine, in isolated area, I have almost no chance. And probably those good guys in supermarkets, they are always receiving updating data from people around them. And they're not missing any previous data of the virus. That's. So here, people, I'm talking to doctors, maybe to scientists, nurses. Please, you people, do not do something on your own. I'm not prescribing like a doctor or so. That's really dangerous. Scientists know how to implement new tests in a way that's not dangerous. For example, in some small tests with devices, ventilators, anything, if needed at hand. And then if there's something wrong, of course, always there are many mistakes and wrong ideas. If there's something wrong, they will correct that, and finally they say, okay, that's the safe way, and extend to many people, and then you can think and do it by yourself. But for now, please listen to them. I beg you, please, resend these videos to your friends, your families, your relatives, so it goes all around the world. Maybe it's like great ideas, scientists, doctors, nurses, reach this video and at least get some small points of ideas and find a way to break through this crisis. From here, scientists better know that how to send previous updating data to a patient, to a severe patient. Maybe by introducing a person who is sick on COVID-19 but very mild level, so he's got previous data. Maybe send him to hospital, get in touch with those severe sick people, or even maybe previous cold people. I mean, not exactly COVID-19, C19, coronavirus, not exactly this one. Even prior to that, people who are now sick, some handkerchief or any data from them could help those sick in hospital, or even maybe all the vaccine, because they maybe have some link of missed information data there. And then finally, usually researchers do not talk about their idea on this step, I didn't prove it so much, and there's not enough time to experiment or test it, and it's not well documented, but there's no chance, there's no time. Now, the economy of the world is on real crisis. Many little small businesses are going to die, fade, and all businesses rely on each other. Then the biggest problem is here. This huge, more than 7 billion population of the world depend on this economy, depend on this producing factory, agriculture, everything. And when the economy goes down, for sure many people are going to die because of malnutrition, because of, there's not enough food and many things else. Even prior to COVID-19, prior to C-19, many people died because of malnutrition. Nowadays, we have to spray all around us and kill good bacteria, which are so important to our health, to the nature. And for now, we have to do that. But after some times, if we learn in public, spray our mouth and nose, it's very important. In colonies, better get in touch, so exchange viruses, it's really important part. And finally, I imagine face of sick people in hospital. This really bothering me. Especially oldies are struggling with this damn disease. And doctors sometimes have to choose between which one give them ventilators or other devices. That's horrible. No one can bear it. It's difficult for us. These things encouraged me, gave me enough braveness to record this video and give it out. Maybe some people have some idea from and can out of this do something. Thanks for your listening. I am Shahram Mohseni. I'd be so glad to be help or part of any research on this. Today, April 21st, 2020.